My bodyguard had one job: keep me safe from the threats trying to destroy my life. For 3 months, she was perfect at it. Professional, distant, focused entirely on security. Then came the night someone tried to kill me in my own home. And in the chaos of saving my life, something shifted. She wasn't supposed to look at me like that. She wasn't supposed to look at me like that.
She wasn't supposed to touch me that way.
And I definitely wasn't supposed to kiss her back. But I did, and nothing was ever the same after. Before I tell you what happened that night and how it changed everything between us, let me ask, what city are you watching from? Drop it in the comments below and subscribe to help this channel grow. Your support means everything.
My name is Isabella Romano, and I'm a tech entrepreneur in San Francisco.
My company develops software that exposes financial fraud, which made me very popular with honest people and very unpopular with criminals. 3 months ago, after my testimony helped convict a major money laundering operation, the threats became serious. My board insisted on protection. That's when Alex Carter entered my life. Alex was former military intelligence, specialized in executive protection, and had a reputation for being absolutely professional. She was lean, athletic, with sharp green eyes that cataloged threats constantly, and she approached security with an intensity that bordered on obsessive. In our first meeting, she laid out expectations. Ms. Romano, keeping you alive means controlling your environment completely. I need access to your schedule, your apartment, your routines. I'll be close at all times. You won't like it, but you'll be alive. I can handle that. Good. Because the people threatening you are professionals. This isn't some random stalker. These are organized criminals with resources. My job is ensuring they never get close enough to touch you. The certainty in her voice was both intimidating and reassuring. She took my safety with a seriousness that felt almost personal. Those first 3 months were an adjustment. Alex was everywhere. A constant shadow who anticipated my needs before I voiced them. She lived in my guest room, drove me to the office, stood outside meeting rooms, vetted everyone I interacted with. It should have felt invasive. Instead, it felt secure. But proximity bred familiarity. During long evenings trapped in my apartment for security reasons, we'd talk. She told me about growing up in military family, about joining intelligence work young, about the operations she couldn't discuss, but that clearly still affected her. She was intelligent, well-read, unexpectedly funny in dry ways. I started noticing things. How she'd check her weapon obsessively when stressed. The way she drank herbal tea in the evenings despite projecting a tough image. That she read spy novels ironically, always guessing the plot twists correctly. How her jaw would tighten when she was worried about something she wasn't telling me. Around month 2, I realized I was developing feelings beyond professional appreciation. I looked forward to our evening conversations more than anything else in my day. When she'd steady me with a hand on my arm during security sweeps, I'd feel electricity. When she'd check my apartment before letting me enter, I'd feel protected in ways that had nothing to do with just physical safety. I told myself it was just proximity creating false intimacy. She was professional to a fault, never crossing boundaries, giving no indication she saw me as anything beyond a job. So I buried the feelings and maintained the appropriate distance. Then came that night. It was late, around 11. I was working in my home office while Alex did her evening security sweep of the apartment. She just finished checking the windows when I heard her voice, urgent and controlled. Isabella, get in the safe room. Now. Don't argue, just move. The safe room was a reinforced space off my bedroom, something the board had insisted on installing. I'd never actually used it. What's wrong? Someone's bypassed building security. They're in the stairwell, heading to this floor. Move. Now. Her tone left no room for argument. I ran toward the bedroom, Alex right behind me, her weapon drawn. We'd almost reached the safe room when I heard the apartment door explode inward. Alex pushed me into the bedroom, slammed the door, locked it. Safe room. Get in. Lock it from inside. Don't open it for anyone but me. What about you? My job is keeping you alive. That means putting myself between you and them. Go. She moved back toward the bedroom door as I heard footsteps in the apartment. Multiple people.
I stood frozen, torn between following her instructions and leaving her alone against unknown attackers.
Isabella, I won't tell you again. Safe room? Now. I moved to the safe room door, but I couldn't go inside. Couldn't seal myself away while she faced danger alone. Through the bedroom door, I heard sounds of fighting. Gunshots. Alex's voice shouting commands. More gunshots. Then silence that lasted forever.
The bedroom door burst open.
Alex stumbled through,
Weapon still in hand, checking behind her.
her tactical vest had stopped at least 2 bullets, but her left arm was bleeding from a graze. 3 attackers were down in my apartment, neutralized but alive. They're contained. Backup is coming, you okay? She was checking me for injuries, hands moving professionally over my arms and shoulders. I'm fine. You're bleeding. Flesh wound. I've had worse. But her hands were shaking slightly, adrenaline wearing off. Isabella, you need to pack a bag. We're relocating you tonight. This apartment is compromised. Alex, sit down. Let me look at your arm. I'm fine.
We need to move. You're shaking. Sit. Down. I pushed her onto the bed, moved to grab my first aid kit from the bathroom.
When I returned, she was staring at her hands, the reality of what just happened settling in. They got past building security, she said quietly. I should have anticipated that. Should have had better protocols. You saved my life. Again. That's my job. It's more than a job. Alex, you threw yourself in front of armed attackers for me. That's not just professional obligation. She looked up at me, and something in her expression was different. Vulnerable. Raw. You're right. It's not just a job anymore. Somewhere over the last 3 months, it became personal. My hands paused while cleaning her wound. Personal how? Personal in ways that violate every professional standard I've ever maintained. Personal in ways that make me want to eliminate threats, not just because I'm paid to, but because the thought of you being hurt makes me want to destroy anyone who might touch you.
She looked away.
I should have requested a transfer weeks ago.
I'm compromised.
Compromised? I have feelings for you, Isabella. Feelings that go way beyond bodyguard and client. Feelings that probably affect my judgment and definitely violate professional boundaries. She pulled her arm away gently. After tonight, after we relocate you, I'm requesting reassignment.
You need someone who can be objective.
What if I don't want someone objective? She looked at me sharply. What? What if I've had feelings for you too? What if I've been hiding them for months because I thought you only saw me as a job? What if tonight, watching you risk your life for me, made me realize I can't keep pretending I don't care about you? Isabella, you're in shock. You're not thinking clearly. I am thinking perfectly clearly. Alex, I'm in love with you. I have been for weeks, maybe longer. And tonight I almost lost you, and I realized I don't want to waste any more time pretending I don't feel this way. She stared at me, something shifting in her expression.
You can't mean that. I do mean it.
And if you're honest, you feel the same way. Feeling it and acting on it are different things. Isabella, I'm your bodyguard. The power dynamic is impossible. You're vulnerable, I'm in a position of trust. Acting on these feelings would be taking advantage. Or it would be 2 adults, acknowledging mutual attraction and choosing to explore it. I moved closer, closing the distance between us. Alex, you saved my life tonight. Multiple times.
You've been keeping me safe for 3 months.
At what point do we acknowledge that this is more than professional obligation?
Isabella ... But she didn't pull away when I took her hand. Tell me you don't feel this.
Tell me tonight didn't change anything. Tell me you can walk away tomorrow and not think about what could have been between us. She looked at me for a long moment, internal war visible on her face. Finally, she reached up, cupping my face gently. I can't tell you that. Because I do feel this. I have been feeling this for months, and tonight almost losing the chance to ever act on it made me realize how tired I am of being professional. Then stop being professional. For one night, just be human with me. She leaned forward, pressing her forehead against mine. If we do this, we can't undo it. Everything changes. I know.
I want it to change. She kissed me then, tentative at first, like she was testing whether this was real.
I kissed her back, 3 months of suppressed feelings flooding out. Her hands moved to my waist, pulling me closer, the kiss deepening.
When we broke apart, both breathing hard, she looked at me with an expression I'd never seen. I'm still going to request reassignment.
Not because I don't want this, but because if we're going to explore this, I can't be your bodyguard simultaneously.
The conflict of interest is too significant. I understand.
But Alex, tonight, let's figure out what this is before you make decisions about leaving.
What are you asking me?
I'm asking you to stay. Not as my bodyguard, just as you. I'm asking for honesty about what we both feel.
I'm asking you to stop protecting me long enough to be with me. She studied my face, seeming to make a decision.
Then she kissed me again, and this time there was no hesitation. We moved together with 3 months of suppressed desire finally finding expression, boundaries dissolving, professional distance collapsing. What happened that night between us changed everything. She was supposed to protect me, maintain professional distance, keep me safe without getting involved. Instead, we crossed every line that existed between bodyguard and client, between professional and personal.
In the aftermath, as we lay together in the early morning hours, she held me close. I meant what I said.
I'm requesting reassignment. Someone else takes over your protection. And us?
Us becomes something real.
Something that doesn't involve professional obligations or power dynamics. Just two people figuring out if crisis feelings can become something lasting.
The transition took 2 weeks. Alex officially closed my case, turned my protection over to another specialist from her company. During that time, we maintained distance, letting the professional relationship end completely before exploring the personal one. Once she was officially off my case, we started dating properly.
It was strange and wonderful, discovering each other outside the context of threats and protection.
She was thoughtful, surprisingly romantic, planned dates that showed she'd been paying attention to my interests all along. 6 months after that night,
after the remaining threats had been neutralized and my life returned to relative normal, Alex proposed. We were at my apartment, the same place where everything had changed.
Isabella Romano, you made me break every professional rule I'd ever followed.
You made me care more about your life than my own. You taught me that sometimes the most important thing we protect is the capacity to love. She pulled out a ring. I want to spend my life choosing you over professional distance, honesty over boundaries, love over safety. Will you marry me?
I said yes through tears, and we were married 4 months later. During our vows, I talked about how she'd saved my life multiple times.
But the most important save was showing me it was okay to be vulnerable, to admit feelings, to choose connection over comfort.
She talked about how loving me taught her that protection isn't just about physical safety,
but about creating space for genuine connection.
Looking back, that night was the turning point.
The night someone tried to kill me became the night I stopped hiding from life. The night my bodyguard stopped being professional became the night we both started being honest. People ask if we regret crossing professional boundaries. I tell them that some boundaries exist to protect us from harm, but others exist to protect us from life itself. Choosing to cross that line, to acknowledge what we felt, that was choosing to live rather than just survive. If you're still watching, thank you. Subscribe and comment about crossing lines. Have you ever had a professional relationship become personal? How did you handle it?
Share your stories. Because sometimes the person supposed to protect you ends up teaching you about vulnerability. Sometimes crossing professional boundaries means finding genuine connection.
Sometimes the night everything goes wrong is the night everything finally goes right.
She was supposed to protect me, not undress me. But that night, she did both.
And in doing so, she showed me that real safety comes from being honest about what we feel, brave enough to act on it, and trusting enough to build something real together.